they ask themselves, you know, we understand that there's no guarantees in life. Government doesn't promise you a living. You got to work hard. And we also understand that, you know, taxes are required to pay for the infrastructure that we need in the schools and helping the aged and the vulnerable, the disabled. But why is it that when we look at what's happened in terms of taxes and in terms of policies out of this administration, that the top 1% have seen their incomes go up 500%, and ordinary workers can't get a boost in their minimum wage? That can't be the kind of America that we believe in. It's time for a change. And then they hear the stories of our young men and our young women, some of whom won't come back from Iraq, some who come back the way a young man who, right before recess, came to visit me with his wife, couldn't be more than 25 years old, had a explosion that had shattered his face, blinded him in both eyes, destroyed his right arm, had been in an induced coma for 6 months, and looking at the face of his wife, and listening to them describe what she had gone through in terms of trying to nurse him and care for their 2 children. And people look at that and they say, you know, we believe in protecting this country. We're a country of patriots. We will lift up arms ourselves to protect this nation. And yet, what we also know is that when we make a decision to go to war, we're not going to fudge the numbers or shade the truth. We're going to have an exit strategy. We're going to understand that the might of our military has to be matched by the strength of our diplomacy and the power of our alliances. And people say, we don't want just a change of course. We want a change of government. We want a change. And so people are in a sober mood right now. And that's a good thing. Because one of the things you come away with when you travel all across the country is the recognition that the American people at their core are a decent people.
Yeah. We rock.
You know, they get confused sometimes. You know, they listen to Rush and, you know, mainly though they're just busy and they're tired. They're not always paying attention. They're trying to get their kids to school on time. They're trying to get to the job and pay the bills. So they're not reading every, you know, single page of the New York Times or the Washington Post. They're not watching those cable shows. They got better things to do. But when you sit down and you talk to them, it turns out that there are a set of common ideals and common values that people believe in. And they understand that those ideals and those values have to express themselves in our families, in our workplaces, in our communities, to our neighbors. They have to express themselves through our churches and our synagogues and our mosques. But they also have to express themselves through our government. People understand that our government can't solve all our problems, but it can help. Yes. And so they say to themselves, why not reflect those values? Why not make sure that every single person who's willing to, and ready to work can find a job that pays a living wage? Why not? Why not? Why not make sure that nobody goes bankrupt when they get sick? Why not? Why not make sure that every child has a decent education and can afford to go to college? They say, why not? They say every senior citizen should be able to retire with dignity and respect. Why not? And America should not be just feared, it should be respected. Why not? So we've got 2 weeks to close that gap between the core decency that Americans embody and the government that we have right now. Somebody said it's a big gap, but you know what fills that gap? Bill Ritter spoke about it. Ken Salazar spoke about it. Ed spoke about it. What fills that gap is hope. What fills that gap is the belief in things not seen. What fills that gap is the understanding that even though it might not be there right in front of us, we can imagine a better day for our children. And we can imagine a better day for our grandchildren. And if we are willing to do the work, then there's no reason why those things can't become possible. So here's my closing message now. You know, it's not good enough just to come to a rally. I want everybody here to kick off their bedroom slippers and put on their marching shoes. I want everybody here to get organized. Everybody here, I want everybody can grab a little flyer and make sure that you're signing up as a volunteer. You know, Dr. King once said, 2 weeks after Bloody Sunday, that's when folks had tried to march across the Edmund Pettus Bridge in Selma and had been turned back with horses and billy clubs and tear gas. And 2 weeks later, Dr. King gathered them back up and they said, we're going to try that march again. And he explained, you know, sometimes things seem bleak. Sometimes it's easier to feel cynical. But the arc of the moral universe is long, and it bends towards justice. It bends towards justice. But here's the thing, it doesn't bend on its own. It bends because each and every one of us grab that arc and bend it in the direction of justice. That's what we need to do.